In my neck of the woods, Sauer's is not a common name that I see at the grocery store. But if you are in the Virginia area, you know this name very well. On this episode of Antique Bottle Stories. Conrad Frederick Sauer, also known as Kuno, was born in Virginia in 1866 to German immigrant parents. He started working at age 13, where a customer cheated him out of $4, and later he said that taught him a lesson. Then, at about age 17, he was working at a drugstore in Richmond, Virginia. One of the things he realized, working with the customers, is a lot of them would bring in their old bottles to be refilled with extracts. His father died and left him with an inheritance. Then, on his 21st birthday, Sauer founded the C.F. Sauer Company. It was the first company in the country to provide extracts in 5 and 10 gram bottles, and they were sold for 10 and 25 cents. Customers loved that they were cheap and convenient. He even started delivering them by horse and buggy. He later married Olga, and she began working right alongside him, often coming in at night to help make extracts and help tasting them. She made a not-so-little exhibit for the company in the 1889 Virginia State Fair, which won first prize. Just to give you an example, here's one that was made for San Francisco. That kind of put them on the map, and by 1909, Sauer products were sold in 27 states. Sauer started to produce more flavors, like rum, sherry, and almond, a total of 32 flavors. He started a company called American Glass Works in 1908 to produce his own glass bottles for his extracts. For almost 20 years he had this factory until it burned down in 1925. Sauer decided not to rebuild, and he got out of the glass-making business. Sauer's company purchased machine-made bottles ever since. In 1911, he moved to this building and has remained there ever since. It must be so cool to be the 4th generation Sauers, to walk where your great-grandparents once walked, walking those halls and sitting in their offices. There is a large Sauer's vanilla sign dating to the early 1900s that still lights up at night. It was moved to this current location in the 60s and is considered a historical object. Here's a clip of it in action. This is actually real time. Sauer died in 1927, age 61. His son, C.F. Sauer Jr., became president. Soon after, Sauer Jr. discovered Mrs. Eugenia Duke's mayonnaise. She had made a name for herself in South Carolina during World War I, making sandwiches for soldiers stationed nearby. They enjoyed her mayo so much, she started bottling it and selling it. Well, Sauer liked it too, and he bought Duke products in 1929. Duke's mayonnaise pride themselves that they never changed the recipe. Sauer was the first company to start using plastic containers for spices. In fact, Sauer holds the patent for it. Everyone at the time was still using metal containers for spices. Here's a line of ladies working the pepper line about the 1950s. And here are some ladies sorting nutmeg. People say you could smell cinnamon or cumin for miles around the plant. Sauer's sponsored the Joan Brooks Show, which was a local Richmond radio station in 1948. It became one of the most recognized shows of its time, which advertised for the Sauer Company on a wider scale. In 1949, the production was renamed The Sauer Show and eventually was carried on 77 stations in 13 southern states, airing 4 nights a week until 1951. I can't find any recordings of it, though. The company stayed in the family for 132 years until last year, 2019. The C.F. Sauer Company was acquired by Falfurrius Capital Partners of Charlotte. The new owners are loyal fans of Sauer's and Duke's products. My two bottles were manufactured in 1938 and 1939, so this is after he had sold his glass company. They are practically identical, machine made. They look like they were dug up. These are apparently so common in Virginia that when diggers find them in holes, they end up throwing them back in the hole. And that's all I've got for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.